Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dave from MoxyLava. I'm building a computer for a good friend of mine, and I thought you might want to check it out. We're doing this build on a toilet today as a tribute to its future owner because he likes poop. This is going to be used primarily to render graphics for video games. Problem is right now, Randy's been rocking the same 10-year-old system that just sucks, and it's super slow, and it drags him down to nothing, and he can't. So we're going to bring him up to speed and see what kind of crap he can produce. So we've got a really cool Intel board. This DH57JGG is for gibberish, I guess. That's a mini ITX form factor, and it's going to fit in this smaller case, the Sugo SG05, which I think is going to be really cool because it's going to be small, and yet, boy, this thing is packed with features. It's got every port known to man on the back of it. We've also got the Intel i660 dual-core desktop processor. This thing is going to be so super fast in this thing, it's just going to explode probably. When I turn it on, it's going to be like the LHC, and it's really going to work to suck up the universe. There's Kingston SSDs over there, solid-state hard drives. This is the first build I've really used SSDs as a main drive system. I've done it before as kind of a hobbyist thing, but before the drives were slower than mechanical drives, and you know, the first ones were just not that great. So now we're up to some reasonable performance. We can expect to get at least good performance out of these. We've also got a slot load optical drive. I'm really stoked about that. I've always wanted to try them. Kind of fragile, but if they work great. 4 gigs each, totaling 8 gigs of memory. I really wanted to go for 16, but this board only supports 8. So, hey Intel, 16. GTS 250 video card from NVIDIA. There's 1 gig of memory on this thing, which is what Autodesk recommends. Really stoked to see the kind of performance. We got the cheaper one this time because it uses less power. Only needs one 6-pin power connector from the power supply. That's kind of nice. This case only comes with 300-watt power supply. This Sugo case is pretty cool. Look at the size of that power supply. It's super small. Alright, you're looking at the front of the case here, and if you look closely you can see these weird golf ball style dimples on the fan. And I'm wondering if that is going to be a significant enough advantage to not go ahead and replace the fan, because that's usually what I do. I put a good high quality liquid bearing style fan in there that's going to last for hundreds of thousands of hours. These fans typically don't last very long, depending on the manufacturer. This one looks like it might be actually pretty good. I may just leave it in. So here's the Sugo case, mostly disassembled. It's kind of neat how it goes together. This little piece goes in here, and if you look on the back of that, you see there's a space for a 2.5-inch hard drive. You can mount it right up in there. And that's what we'll be doing. Up on here is where you mount the optical drive bay. Boom! Right in like that. Then, you've got this little piece here that holds a 3.5-inch drive, or in our case, it'll hold an adapter which will carry 2 additional solid-state hard drives. So easy this is for an idiot. Perfect. So, a couple more things. This bracket, somewhere around here, that holds the power supply. This is the tiniest power supply I have ever seen. It's unbelievably small. Pico, I believe, is the format. This Pico ITX format is really small. Check it out. There's only 4 mounting holes, and there's this big old thing here on back. I was hoping to use a squirrel cage type cooler on this thing like they have in a server, but this kind of precludes that because they have a bracket that goes across the back here and you just can't put anything on there. So that kind of sucks. But anyhow, using the stock cooler will be just fine. You can't really overclock much with this board anyhow. It's not really meant for overclocking. It's meant to be stable. So there's the motherboard installed. We're just going to throw in some memory, processor, and a graphics card. Woohoo! Alright, now we're getting somewhere. We got the memory installed, processor's in, this humongo graphics card, which barely fits, by the way. There's one tiny little problem already with this case. This screw, for some reason, God knows why, is longer than any other screw on the board, and it just happens to hit that memory clasp. No big deal. We can file that down once we finish our final build. Problem solved. Next up, I'm going to throw in this bracket that carries the slot load optical drive and also one 2.5 inch solid state disc. We're stoked. Alright, we got it all put together. It's just kind of roughed in right now. We haven't done a lot of cable management or anything like that, but you can see the level of integration in here is just unbelievable. This is one of the smallest PCs that I have ever put together. This mini ITX format is really something else. Shut up, cat. Shut up, cat. Shut up, cat. It's pretty busy. And there's not a lot of room for cables, but it seems to work. I've been running it for about 2 days now, doing renders, crunching the processors, and there are no problems. Everything's great. That's one good thing about getting an Intel board, an Intel processor straight up. You generally can install the drivers and go. There's that high-end graphics card right on the side there. It takes up pretty much the whole case. You can see it's huge. That's a GTS 250 based on I believe the 45 nanometer process, something like that. It only takes one 6-pin PCIe power connector, which we love because this is a tiny little power supply. We've seen before, this thing is just unbelievably small. So fit everything in here. It's quite a challenge, but it really came out well.